This is the Jack Murphy Podcast. Here's your host, Jack Murphy.
Quick question for you. Are you afraid to die? Now, I don't want to die, but I'm not afraid to die because I have a hope, and I think I know where I'm going when I die. I see a lot of people that don't believe in God, they're agnostic or they're atheist, and they say, oh, it's all silly to believe that. And when I die, I think everything just goes dark, and that's it. It's over. Nothing more to see here. I and millions of other people, billions of other people, don't believe that. We believe that there is another life. But you know who's terrified of death? I just read over the weekend. William Shatner. That's right, Captain Kirk from the original Star Trek. He's 94 years old now, and he's looking for ways to cheat death. A lot of people do. You know, some of the people that you're just surprised when you see it, that they think they can cheat death, and they spend all this money to go into one of these cryogenic chambers, having their whole body put in there, and it's really expensive. What was it I read? Like $250,000 a year to keep your body frozen in one of those cryogenic containers. So if you don't have the big bucks to do that, the next best thing is they chop your head off and you just freeze that. That's what Shatner's looking into, the Shat Man. He's terrified, and he said he's looking into having his head pickled in a jar in an unlikely event that, he's not even going to have it frozen. He's going to have it pickled. In the unlikely event he can be resuscitated. He's become obsessed with ways to live forever. He said he's also having an AI hologram made of himself so that loved ones can communicate with him after he's gone. How about that? By the way, welcome to the Jack Murphy Podcast. I forgot to say that at the outset. Thank you for tuning in today here on YouTube or wherever you're checking out the podcast. Like the video and subscribe if you enjoy what you hear. And if you don't enjoy what you hear, just keep that to yourself. Now, sometimes we used to have it a lot with Biden and Biden's press secretaries and people in the Biden cabinet. Usually if they opened their mouth, you could just tell they were lying. But a lot of times you can tell it with celebrities as well, whether they're on the red carpet or an interview. They start talking and they're telling some story, or they're telling you how they feel about something, and you just get a feeling that, I don't believe a word you're saying. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're lying. I get that all the time. I don't know about you, but I read this today and it kind of hit me. Amy Schumer had what she called minor surgery on her lower spine. I don't think anytime they're operating on your spine, for whatever reason, that it's minor. She said it's a short recovery and she'll be back on her feet in no time, and it was due to, quote, a surfing injury back in the day. I don't believe that for 1 minute. I can't see Amy Schumer on a surfboard. I'd have to see a video of that to believe it. Probably just tripped and fell and hurt her back. That's all. No surfing involved. By the way, speaking of injuries, I don't know if you saw this video over the weekend or not, but NASCAR driver Connor Zilich won the race at Watkins Glen, New York, a road race. And afterward, you know what the NASCAR drivers always do? They have to climb out the door because the doors don't open, you know. And then they climb up on the windowsill, and they oftentimes will then stand up in the windowsill, and usually they'll have a soft drink, whoever their sponsor is, waving it around with it spraying everywhere. Well, Connor climbs out, and he tripped. Check out this video.
Motorsport has inherent dangers, but Connor Zilich crashed out after winning this morning's NASCAR Xfinity race. A scary moment where the celebrations went horribly wrong. Check this out.
Oh, he went down on the cage stand.
Oh, my gosh, he fell.
It looked really bad, didn't it?
Oh, my gosh.
And it was.
Yeah, the 19-year-old knocked himself out and was taken to hospital, where he's stable and talking to doctors. Earlier at Watkins Glen, Zilich took out teammate Shane Van Gisbergen.
That is terrible. He broke his collarbone. He was unconscious. He's okay. Today I did a check just before we started recording the podcast today. By the way, my friend Alpha Trevette, he's not with us today because, he won that Best Indie Picture Award last week, and you can't hide money like that. He's having a new floor put in his bedroom today, and he had to supervise that. You can't hide that kind of money, folks. By the way, if you turned on local television, and I'm proud to say, you know what I am now? I am a digital antenna man. I mean, I've got Netflix. I spend most of my TV time, if I watch any, on YouTube. But I've got Netflix, YouTube. What else? Maybe one of my kids has another service that I occasionally look at, but that's basically it. I spend all my time right there. But I bought a little $12.99 digital TV antenna, hooked it up, and I get like 23 channels, including all the locals in 4K. I love it. So if you watch local television, which is the only television I watch if I'm going to watch television, on the news for the last week or so, every newscast, they have a story about it's back to school time here in Charlotte, and our Sally Smith went out to blah, blah, blah to talk to parents and kids that are so excited about back to school. Or they're at some place where the people are buying school supplies or clothing or whatever. Apparently, only 14% of kids are happy to go back to school. 16% are very sad. And 100% of the parents are very happy.
They don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
Well, by now you've probably heard that President Trump is going to Alaska to meet with Vladimir Putin to try to come to some agreement on the end of the Ukraine war. Now, I hate it that this thing is starting off, and the first person I saw on the news talking about today was John Bolton. If I never see John Bolton again, I'd be happy. I really would. Not in the way the Socialist Democrats say about President Trump. I saw a post over the weekend from the Socialist Democrats on Facebook that said, only one obituary is needed for the world to go back to normal. That's what these people are about. They're a violent political party. They're deathmongers. Socialism always leads to hundreds of thousands or millions of deaths, and that's what they're calling for right now. How can that be allowed to go on social media and not be taken down? But anyway, Bolton said Trump's a fool for meeting with him. Well, if you don't meet with him, you never get anywhere. If you just have a constant standoff. So they're going to meet, and I think Putin, from everything I've read, he's going to ask for eastern Ukraine. Zelensky says that's not going to happen. I don't know if they'll come out of it with an agreement. I don't know what look, Ukraine's not ours, so we can't just give away their territory. Now, we can tell them that, look, I think this is the best deal you're going to get. Let's end this war. If you want our continued support and protection, this is what you need to do. We can do that. But I was looking at a British website that I look at. It's kind of I won't call it the TMZ, but it's close. The TMZ British version. And they have a story about Vladimir Putin. I'll tell you, the problem with a lot of these articles that I look at, there's a picture or something I want to share with you. They've got some technology now that prevents me from doing that. I can download the picture, convert it to a JPEG, and I still can't load it up and show it to you here on the podcast. I don't know how they do that, but they're really good at it. So I'm going to have to show you this picture. Here's a picture of Vladimir Putin and his parents. You can obviously tell that's him. But you wonder how a guy like him got so psychotic and evil. Putin's father gouged out his mother's eye with a pitchfork in a fit of rage, a new book claims. Vladimir was 17 when this happened. The mother, I guess the father came home drunk with some of his friends, and she wouldn't let him in the house, and in a rage, he gouged out her eye with a pitchfork. Now, Putin was mad about it, and get this, the dad, they weren't married at the time. They were just boyfriend and girlfriend. But Vladimir's dad was forced to marry her to avoid going on trial for the attack. What did the mom think about that? Well, I mean, would you want to marry a guy who just gouged your eye out with a pitchfork? What kind of justice is that? What kind of law is that? His mother was only 17 when this happened. This bizarre story is now in a new book called The Tsar in Person, How Vladimir Putin Fooled Us All, Details of the Kremlin Despot's Life. According to the independent news outlet Protek, Putin's father arrived with male friends, wanted to come in. She got scared, ran out of the house. He broke through the gate with a pitchfork and hit her right in the face, and she lost her eye as a result. He was also notorious for terrorizing teenage girls in the village where they lived. He liked to lift up their skirts and tie them in a knot over their head. It's great. I don't know if you've seen this lady or not. I can't think of her last name. She's a British comedian. I would say she's probably in her 50s. But she does a thing on TikTok where she says, "Today in batshit crazy Britain." And apparently she's gotten a lot of grief from the British government. They've tried to censor her, and she moves around a lot. But here's how crazy it is in Britain right now. We've talked already about social media, how they advise you if you have any doubts about what you're about to post, don't. Because if it makes someone uncomfortable, you could be put in jail for what you post on social media. A government agency has advised British business owners not to shame shoplifters by posting pictures of people stealing from their shops. The Information Commissioner's Office has issued advice warning that it may not be appropriate to post pictures of shoplifters. According to the data watchdog, it would be appropriate for the business to forward information to police or share suspects' identity with managers of fellow shop owners. Oh, so what? They can stop the shoplifting themselves after the horse is out of the barn? The advice comes in the wake of police demanding that a vintage shop owner in London take down a sign that said shoplifters are scum, saying it was provocative and insensitive and offensive. Well, if you wonder how a government or how things can get that out of kilter, this explains it. The British government's no better than the Biden administration was. The British government admitted over the weekend they have no idea where 150,000 immigrants are that came in on social care visas. They don't know if they're still in the country or not. This is what they call the Boris wave of immigrants. They came in under Boris Johnson, and they're totally unaccounted for. That's great. We have the same problem here. We have so many immigrants in this country. We don't know who they are. We don't know where they're from. We have no idea where they are. And yet, Rosie O'Donnell, who's left the country and is in Ireland, wants everybody to black out. Have you seen this? I saw it for the first time over the weekend, and I just thought, what is she talking about? What is she talking about? Because I don't get it. Every time I went on the talk over the weekend, here's what I had to see, and I got tired of it.
Black out the system. Black out the system.
Black out the system. So then I saw some other people posting about this black out the system. She did a terrible job of describing it, didn't she? Basically, there's a day, and I don't know the date off the top of my head, but it's in September. It's not the first time they've done something like this, and people never do it. They want you to black out the system. That is, they don't want you to use the internet. Excuse me. They don't want you to buy anything. They don't want you to go. They just want you to stay home. Black out the system on that day. What does it accomplish? I don't get it. But I know this. I am tired of seeing Rosie talk about it. Way tired. Speaking of tired, here's another one of these. We've talked about this before on the podcast. People do this all the time on social media. They make a post where they They vaguely talk about something. They don't give you any facts, and you're left to your imagination to figure out what the heck they're talking about. Here's a lady who's been posting all weekend about people being tired.
You tell us what you think is making everybody so exhausted, extremely, extremely tired. You know, somewhere over there in Russia or somewhere like that, there was a whole village that slept for 7 whole days.
Really?
And they...
Do you have any evidence of that to back it up? Do you have any proof that there's a village in Russia where they slept for 7 whole days? And is everybody any more tired today than they normally are? I mean, I'm old, so I'm constantly. I'll tell you what, over the weekend, my daughter and my grandkids came over, my son-in-law, and we were walking around in the backyard. I was barefooted, and I dang near sprung my ankle somehow, just walking. It's swollen today, and it hurts. We're all tired, honey. I don't think it's anything they're doing to us. We're all working hard, and we're old. A lot of us are anyway. I don't know why you're tired. One last thing, by the way, we reported this on Friday, but up in Canada, in some of the provinces, Manitoba is where it started. It's now spread to a couple of the other provinces. The extremely left-wing liberal government up there, they just feel like they can mandate whatever they want. I mean, I can't believe that the Canadian people are such betas that they stand by idly while their rights are taken away from them. They can't say what they want on social media. They don't have any freedom of speech. Their prime minister lied to them to get elected about where his investments were. He's totally destroyed the trading relationship with the rest of the world. Their spending ability, it's not their cost of living, but the average person in a lot of these cities in Canada, their lifestyle is equal to that in our poorest state of Mississippi, because things have gotten so expensive and there's so many regulations and taxes that people just aren't making enough money to survive. Of course, a lot of people here aren't either. But they've done it again up in Canada, in Manitoba. They've closed down all the hiking trails in the province. Only certain approved campgrounds are still open. So you can't go hiking in Canada on any of the state-owned or national park trails up there. And if you own private land, you can hike alone. But if you bring a friend to hike with you, you can get a $25,000 fine. All because they're trying to prevent wildfires. Now, since when did walking through the woods cause wildfires? Never. That's when. It's never happened. Wildfires are caused when people intentionally set them, or a campfire gets out of control, or a lightning strike. Those are usually the ways, and then the embers are carried somewhere else and the fire spread. I think this whole thing has to do with control. They're getting worried that people in Canada are getting on the edge, and they're a little worried about it, and they want to have some control mechanism, and keeping people where they can see them, like at home or at their job, is better than having a bunch of people out in the woods. I think that's what it is. Could be wrong, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you for checking out the Jack Murphy Podcast today. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching the Jack Murphy Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Go ahead, ring it. Get alerts when a new episode drops, and tell your friends about the Jack Murphy Podcast. But only the cool friends, please. Tune in next time for another episode of the Jack Murphy Podcast.